Today on the podcast, we're talking geeks, pop culture favorites, and Comic-Cons. This is the Kansas City Podcast. Welcome to the Kansas City Podcast. I'm your host, Cole Lindberg. Many of you know me from my collection of vintage Moustakis t-shirts. And if not, it's nice to meet you. You know, each week... Well, hold on. Before we even get in this, if I'm sounding extra groggy today, do I sound extra groggy? Do I sound a little groggy?
You sound super groggy, man.
You know why I'm super groggy? There was a storm last night. There was a thunderstorm. And my dog does not like thunder. So... all through the night, every time there was a thunderclap, freaking out, barking at the window. And so all night long, I had to good dog, good, you're okay. Feed her cheese, positive reinforcement. And I swear to God, I only got 4 hours of sleep, maybe less. Just because you're in a state of, oh no, here it's quiet. I see a lightning strike. Here comes the thunder. Be good. So anyway, if any of you listeners know out there of any foolproof ways to get your dog used to thunder, send them my way.
Have you tried the weighted jackets? Have you heard of those?
The thunder shirt thing?
Thunder shirts. I didn't know they were called that. It sounds like an 80s cartoon.
Well, it is definitely one of those things that you can get. It's like a jacket, yes, and we have, and it does not work for B.
They make them of cheese.
If they did,
yeah.
Because you're basically this is what you're doing. It's thundering, and you have to say good, and feed her canned cheese, squirt it in her mouth.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. This thunder, you have to that's because she's very food motivated. So when she eats food, she thinks happy thoughts.
Your dog is very much like me.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And then what happens is that you want her to associate thunder with something good, but you cannot predict when thunder occurs. So either way, it scares the hell out of her. Anyway, each week here on the Kansas City Podcast, we are joined by a one-of-a-kind KC native for a conversation on life in the city of fountains. And today, I am joined, I'm here in his... Can I classify this your office, but is it kind of man cave-ish, or is the man cave, you don't say man cave anymore?
No, I'm a feminist. I say regular cave.
Okay.
Just anybody can use it, but I'm here mostly.
And I'm surrounded by all these wait, am I calling this nerd art, geek art? What's the proper terminology?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Nerd art, comic books.
Okay.
Art toys.
Because I'm joined today by an artist, an illustrator. He is a innovator like Steve Jobs. He is a designer. He is also sexy. Please welcome to the show, Josh Lane. Josh Lane, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Like I mentioned, we are in your office, your regular cave, surrounded by lots of different, I see Star Trek, Rick and Morty, Simpsons, Star Wars, Ninja Turtles, Futurama, all these different...
Keep going.
Okay, sorry. Ghostbusters, Darkwing Duck. Let's see. Hold on. What am I missing here? There's some more Simpsons.
Did you say Adventure Time? There's some.
I did not say Adventure Time. Did I say Rick and Morty?
You said Rick and Morty.
I see a Batman. Is that Mr. Freeze sitting over there too?
Mr. Freeze, yes.
There's Adventure
from the
Time.
Animated series.
Ghostbusters.
Keep going. I'm kidding. That's good.
What am I missing?
I think you got it. There's a few Fallout things.
Okay.
That's about it.
Josh, why don't you explain to people why I'm surrounded by all this nerd art, geek art? Give the people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So it's something I grew up. Yeah, dead silence.
That's a softball of a question. Yeah. Way to knock it out of the park.
So obviously, I'm surrounded by what I love, and I thought, wait, when I'm in my office or my studio working on art, it's something that kind of helps me stay positive and
Focused.
yeah, just like a lot of having fun things around that I enjoy, like keeps me, I don't know if it's my nostalgia or whatever, but things that I enjoy that make me enjoy the art I'm working on.
Because you are technically, I said you're an artist. I said you're an illustrator. I mean, you are a, can I say that you are you reaching upper echelon levels of like nerd art?
I don't know about that. I've been.
You could lie. It's okay.
Let me lie real quick. I've been featured in a few Geek Art books.
Yeah.
So I would say that that's in good company. Like maybe wouldn't call it like upper tier, but like that I'm in that group of people that do geek art.
Which books were you part of? Wasn't one a Star Trek book?
I was in the 50th anniversary Star Trek book, the 50 artists for 50 years.
Okay.
Probably my highest accomplishment in my life, besides my beautiful children. I don't know if that's an accomplishment by me, mostly my wife. But
oh, you were part of it.
The easy part, I guess. But yeah, that the 50th anniversary, like CBS reached out and was like, "Hey, why don't you do a piece for this? Since we've noticed that you steal our license and do Star Trek art all the time." And when I first got that letter, I was like, "Oh no, they're gonna come after me with their lawyers." And no, it was like inviting me to do a piece for their show. And then I was like, "Oh no, what am I gonna do?" Because I love Star Trek so much.
So they chose 50 artists?
They chose just 50.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they picked me to do it.
You were one of them.
Yep.
What was the piece? What did you do? I can't remember. Was it like was some of the Enterprise or was it Spock or something?
Let me go into detail for the listeners.
Okay.
Of what, like, so it has like a couple lines that start from the corner. I'm kidding. It's right behind you.
Oh,
I know
okay.
you can see it, but the
I
listeners
can.
will not be able to. It kind of looks like a playing card. It's kind of got, it has that playing card kind of feel to it. It's like really like same line weight, kind of just.
Yeah, and it's got like old school like Kirk and Spock.
Yes.
And
it's got the like Vasquez
so it's
rocks
almost like the backside of like a bicycle card almost.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And did you like have to print it off and take it to like for a showing, or did they just put it in a like how does this all work? I don't understand how it all works. Like they reach out to you and then they give you a deadline, or what happens?
Yeah, they gave me a deadline and they like paid me like half up front to like motivate me, I guess.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And so I definitely was like, oh, pressure, but I did it. And
so it was a full-on commission.
Yeah. And I sent them like drafts, like some sketches, and this is what I'm thinking. And they were like pretty much like, yeah, this is good. I think they had like one critique where it was like, you're using the more modern Federation logo in the top, and really around the time of Kirk and Spock, they'd be using this pendant flag. And I'm like, okay, it's not really that in the show very much. People more identify with this, but I'll make that change. It's not that big a deal. But that's awesome to have like very little critique. I mean, that's in this industry is like really hard to avoid. Yeah, there's my kids falling upstairs. If the listeners can pick that up, I'm sure Cole does a good job of getting that out.
Yeah, well, don't worry. If you hear a lot of these bumps and stuff, then I did something wrong.
Yes. So basically, I finished the piece and. Yeah, they asked me to send it to, I think, their studio in LA, and then they were taking it for the opening in San Diego Comic-Con. They were going to do an art show there.
Wow.
And then it traveled the world after that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, for like a big like all 50 pieces were at like different.
Yeah, just went
centers.
around to different museums, Paris, New York.
Whoa.
All that kind of.
How do you feel about that? Like knowing that like a piece of your art got to like be shown all over the world.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty cool.
Were there any other artists that were a part of that you know, like were you in like really good company? Was there like some people that you like were there like people that worked on Star Trek, or did they reach out to other people like you that
was literally a Leonard Nimoy piece because he's a photographer and he's an excellent photographer. And
Whoa.
so he had like a kind of a trippy like 60s kind of piece in it of like his hand. I don't know, because he like died before that, so I don't know.
Wait, he died? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, devastated, and you can't finish the rest of the podcast because you're hurting so bad. No, he like had that piece in there, but I don't know if like his son's the one who like put that forward, or maybe he worked on it. I know he was working on it before he died, but I don't know like if the finished piece is like to his liking, you know, like when they release Nirvana songs and it's like, oh, should you have done that? Because, you know, like, I don't know if Kurt Cobain would like that song. Yeah. But
you know, you're right.
Yeah. Good example.
So with having now had a piece of art that's like traveled the world, and so now like do you try to put out like a piece a week or something? Like, you like always working on things? Like, I know you sell online, and like people could like take your art and put it on like pictures and mugs and hats and t-shirts. So like are you getting more commissions like that, or are you just letting the inspiration take you?
I kind of just go like with however I'm feeling. Like if I'm like right now I'm in like, I wouldn't call it like a slump or a rut. It's just I'm focusing on other things in life right now. But I typically was doing, before kids, like a piece a week, maybe even two. And, you know, I don't put them all out. I put like one out a week and just put it on a bunch of products and see how it goes from there.
What was the piece of art that like started everything? Like the one that like, oh, hey, I might be onto something. Because the world of nerds and the world of geeks is obviously taken over. There's a superhero movie every week, and comic books are like crazy, and you go to these cons and stuff. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But like when did like what was the piece that kind of like started it up for you? Because that's the thing, nerds will buy. They will buy if they like it. They will buy it.
They're smart people, and they know how to get money, and then they know how to spend it. And that wasn't my idea. I wasn't gonna be like, I'm gonna tap into this market and get some of that nerd money.
Sweet nerd money.
Yeah, everybody likes that sweaty money. No, I started out.
I printed this myself.
I started out doing just kind of like, I did like a dinosaurs in space kind of theme print, and I did some like more abstract looking stuff just because I like found this website, Society 6, and was like, oh, they put stuff on products, and I was like just kind of, I don't know, I was a few years removed from college, and I was kind of like, oh, I'm not making it in the graphic design world for some reason. Probably because it was like 2008, 2009, and there was like zero jobs. And so I was a little down on myself and having some self-doubt because I think every artist goes through that, where they're just like, oh, maybe I'm not good, or I'm a fraud. And so I started out putting out like more just kind of abstract and some like kind of simpler designs on there. And then like I started getting a few sales, and I was like, really, people bought that? Like I was just putting it out there just to like have fun. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe I need to pay a little bit more attention to this. And so I started doing like stuff that kind of like motivated me and like that I really liked. And I think one of the first pieces that I did that caught like a lot of attention, I did these like kind of geometric, but they're made up of triangles. But I
remember those.
I built like the Ecto one, and like I did like a series of like famous pop cars. Like I did the Batmobile Ecto one, and Turtle Van and stuff like that. And I think those like worked on a lot of different products, and like people like really started to like, you know, just give me some like, hey, those are awesome. And then this guy in Paris hit me up and was like, hey, I'm doing this Geek Art book. Would you like to be in it? I really like these pieces. And then I feel like that just kind of motivated me to do more pieces of things that I love, regardless of licensing and rights, and just.
How does all that work with licensing and rights? Because like, since it's an artwork, do you get like, I mean, how can you?
I'm not gonna like be like pretend like I'm an expert. Obviously, it's like I think there's some like,
because if you're doing something of the Batmobile, like it's your artist
It's my style. It's my like
of that thing.
Yeah.
So they can't. I don't know how it works either.
So,
I am a lawyer.
Yeah, I am a lawyer.
I'm a licensing lawyer.
I think. I mean, it's really like gray. I have a really hard time with it too, and I've read a ton on it.
Yeah.
You know? And if your work has parody in it,
Yeah.
then I think it's pretty fair to do.
Yeah.
With characters. I know a lot of I stay away from Superman and Batman nowadays. I've kind of learned my lesson. I've gotten a lot of cease and desist from Warner Brothers.
Really?
Because their characters are I want to say registered, their trademark it's like their characters alone you can't use their likeness at all.
Oh, okay.
And I know just certain things have exclusive rights. I know that I could draw Bill Murray all day, but I can't put him on a t-shirt because someone has exclusive Bill Murray t-shirt. But I can sell prints of Bill Murray's face or whatever, and it's fine.
Oh, see, okay. So you got to know all that stuff or figure it out, or
Yeah,
you put
just
it out there and then you get a cease and desist.
Yeah, who has the license to put Bill Murray's? Go reach out to them. It's a lot of problems is those big Disney's not going to really work with little bitty artists me. No. They're not going to be oh yeah, you only owe us this much percentage of your sales, which I would be cool with, but they demand you to sell a lot, and then
Mickey is so protected anyway.
Yes.
That, they're just. What doesn't Disney keep having the laws change to where Disney's or to where Mickey Mouse is no longer?
Yeah, right.
It doesn't fall in the public domain, or
right? Of course, yeah, for sure. Because it's Sherlock Holmes is that's fair game for anybody because it's public domain now. But Mickey Mouse they'll keep rewriting it.
Who was the one you got the first cease and desist on? Was it Superman? Was it Batman?
I did a Batman. I did these series of superhero power gloves.
Okay.
And because it's so bad, a 8-bit style.
Yeah.
And I did a Batman one.
Yeah.
Which you have to really look at it, and cease and desist on that. And I was like, what? It's a 8-bit digital power glove, with just little blades on it, so you can tell it's Batman.
Huh.
So I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, I was like, I think that's fair. I think I could do that, but
what do you think is the pop culture nerd? Because I think Star Trek and Star Wars is up there. Have you done anything Star Wars?
Oh yeah, tons.
Disney come after you on that?
So far, no.
Well, let's knock on wood here.
Let's edit this out of the podcast.
I should keep asking these questions.
Yeah.
Simpsons.
Yeah,
done lots of Simpsons.
I've read and seen a lot of interviews with Matt Groening, how he loves bootleg Bart stuff. Okay. He's a collector himself.
Yeah,
and it's Black Bart on a T-shirt. He eats that up, and so I'm like, I'll do it.
Same with probably Futurama then, so that's Groening too.
Well, yeah, but I think I've gotten a cease and desist from. This is just a podcast about me getting cease and desist.
I feel horrible now. No, this is all interesting to me.
Yeah, no, I think it is obviously now I try to dance around all this stuff and change things enough, but it was I got it from Fox, so okay. I think Matt Groening's cool with it, but Fox isn't, or but it was weird because Futurama I think at the time was Comedy Central was running them.
Oh yeah.
And I got it from Fox, and I'm like, hey, you guys don't have this anymore, do you? But apparently they did on the art and that kind of stuff. But
who's your favorite pop culture one to draw? Who do you feel you get the most motivation out of, or the most you're the most excited? Oh, I'm going to start on this new Star Trek piece, or I'm going to start on a Adventure Time piece or something like that. Does it come to you in waves, the different ones, or is there one that you're I need to do this?
I kind of go through phases, and if I'm watching a new show or something, it's oh, Stranger Things, I'm really into that right now, and I'm gonna do a piece or a couple pieces that show my love for that show.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of whatever I'm into at the moment. I've gravitated. Some of my favorite ones are definitely Simpsons and Futurama related. I really like both of those universes a lot, and it's fun to stay in them. And I just love all the goofy products that they have and all the stuff they have already established. That's fun to play on. There's a lot of
weird stuff out there.
Yes.
Speaking of weird stuff, you've shown at Kansas City Comic-Con, right?
Yes.
How was it? Like, how do you feel about? Didn't you go to Denver too?
Yes.
All right. So how do you feel about cons? How do you feel about Comic Cons?
I love being immersed in that, like around like-minded people.
Yeah.
And talking to people all day, and just seeing people's reaction to my work is like, then I can like actually see
That's a good
people's
point,
reactions, because usually since I sell most of my stuff online, I stay away from comment sections in general.
Yeah.
Because those are just negative anyway.
Yeah.
Not that anybody would ever write anything negative about my art.
No.
But
you
they're
should see what they write about my podcast.
I know. So it's just, they're just, I just stay away because I don't think that helps anybody. But to see, like, in person, gauge people's interest in what they like, I really love that. Yeah. And that's the perfect place to do it, is at Comic-Con. That's where my, my crowd is, my consumers.
Yeah.
And, the Kansas City one is, I think, it just grows and grows every year, and they really bring in a lot of great stuff and celebrities. Yeah. And the Denver one was a little bit bigger.
Really?
And I need to do more. I haven't, it's like...
Well, doing the cons is like a big...
You have to quit.
It's a commitment.
Yeah, I have a full-time job, and I'm not willing to, quit and just do it.
Yeah.
Because, there's no health care in that.
To pay to travel, to pay to get there, to set up, take all your stuff.
Yep.
I mean, did you fly to Denver?
Nope, drove.
You drove, okay.
Exciting trip across Kansas.
Yeah, nice and flat.
Oh, so lovely. Just like in the middle, it's just middle of July. Or was it, I went in June. Either way, it was 100 degrees.
Across the plains.
Yeah.
And then you get into the mountains all of a sudden.
Yeah, we left Denver and it was 59 degrees. And then we stopped in the middle of Kansas and it was like 101. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
why are we coming back?
Have you ever gone to San Diego?
I've been...
For the big one?
Yeah.
That's the granddaddy of them all, right?
I went as a fan back in 2012.
Yeah.
And then I went for the 50 artists for 50 years Star Trek.
That,
yeah, they had the show opening there, and I went and signed some books and hung out. And I think I went to the con for one day, because the show was on the outside of the convention. There's just they turned their whole I think it's called the Gaslamp District into everything's Comic-Con related around there. And they have tons of things going on. You could go down there, not have any passes to go to the convention, and still get a ton of stuff just around the convention center to do.
Because I think, you hear about all the panels and stuff, and see oh, I want to meet somebody. I'm not interested in all that. I think just to go for the people watching in itself and walk the booths and stuff is more than enough that I would need to sit and oh my God, they just showed the new Aquaman trailer.
Yeah.
And now the cast of Aquaman is here. And I'm just no, I'm not, I don't know.
And there's a few surprises. I think when I went the first time, I was I'm going to hit some panels and I want to go see, whatever. I think Firefly was having their reunion.
Yeah.
I was oh, that'd be fun I waited in line all day and didn't even get in. and then I just stayed in line and went to the next panel, and it ended up being really fun. It's oh, I didn't watch Supernatural, but I think the cast is really funny and cool, but I would never wait in line again to see those. So then, the next time I went, I just people watched, walked the floor, looked at cool art. Yeah, that's my favorite part, is to go and see just people who are doing it on their own, artists and stuff, and comic book artists, and to see their work, because everything else you can just consume online and find. But when you walk the floor of the cons, you can kind of see things that you typically wouldn't run into online sometimes.
Because you got to pay to show.
Yep. And that's not a cheap one.
No.
I think that one's you get less space than you do at other cons.
Get a 10x10 booth or whatever.
Well, I mean, 10x10, that's spacious. That's
that's a good point. Well, I'm thinking from the...
I think you get a 3-foot table.
from the toy world, from my world, a 10x10 is the smallest they'll go for when you're showing product. So I didn't think art, you 3-foot table, with a backing board.
Yeah, I think the typical is the 6-foot space. Yeah. That's what I usually get. But
do they provide a backboard and everything for all that, or do you have to take your own stuff? You
got to do your whole
the whole thing.
tote it all,
man.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, that's when it gets. That's when it gets ridiculous.
Yeah,
because
I think so.
You got
It's
to figure
like-
out the best way to do it.
It's like, man, it's like, oh, I'd like to go do Seattle's and New York's, but it's, yeah, you just got to fly all that stuff. And
Was it worth it from the standpoint of like, did you make back? Were you able to sell enough pieces to make back at least the cost of the trip?
oh, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially like driving. I mean, the
Yeah.
cost of that is a lot cheaper, but that's like what my ultimate goal is just like, let's just even everything out and just have a nice little trip.
Yeah.
But no, Denver went really well. And Kansas City, of course, that's less margin there. So, because I'm just right here.
Yeah.
And so that one's good too.
Nice. Do you think that at some point, because I'm intrigued by this, because like doing the Comic-Con is part of it, and like selling your art, doing the online is part of it. Like, what's the other? Is there something else out there that you haven't gone down the path yet or done yet that like is another way to get your stuff out there, or is it? Or have you like reached all the different places you can, and now it's just a matter of people picking it up?
This is a super good question. I think probably performance art. Just like I'm going to do like one man shows. No, I I don't know.
Josh Lane on tour, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Today I'm going to do a live painting.
Yeah, look at this, and I'm going to just tell you what I'm thinking about, and you do the work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work. I think I've probably have gotten to every place that I want to be in, like as far as like avenues to. I think online's probably my best audience anyway. So yeah, conventions. I'm doing like a craft fair in September in Kansas City at Crown Center.
Okay.
I haven't done one of those yet. It's more of like handmade kind of stuff, so I don't know how my stuff's going to be received there, but I figure it's going to be different.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, that's the thing. It's all about exposure.
Sure.
Getting it out there. So, I mean, there could be a grandma walking by, like, looking for some yarn, and they'd be like, oh,
and I get
my boy loves Batman. My boy loves Star Trek.
And I've really noticed, like... my stuff like is received well with some older generations because I did some like a series called Hieroglyphics.
Yeah. I saw those.
Yeah, it's like these pop culture characters put in Egyptian poses, and like man, I get a lot of like archaeologists and people who study like past people and they're like really into it, and like history teachers, and they're all like older, and they like come by my booth and they're like bummed out because they're there with their kids and they're just like, this isn't for me, I'm just here. And then they see my booth and they're like, what? Yeah. I love it, and it's like, oh, this is my kind of nerdy, and so I have this like kind of weird audience there too.
That's awesome. What here's a $1 million question. Is because I always think about this all the time, because every time I go to see a movie now, I feel like it's a superhero movie. I feel like it's something from like the Marvel universe. Like people went crazy for Szechuan sauce and for Rick and Morty. Like, there's all these weird like pop culture weird things happening now. Is the world of like nerd and geek art, do you think it's like, has it reached a climax, do you think? Like, do you think that I'm getting sick of superhero movies.
Me too.
I'm getting sick of some of this stuff, and I'm worried that a decline is going to happen soon.
Me too, obviously.
But do you think it's happening now, or do you think it's like
I
it's
think
coming
people
in
are getting
waves?
fatigued. Yeah, I think I've kind of like started downtrending the amount of pop culture work I do.
Yeah.
Not because it's not selling, but because I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Like coming to an end. I mean, people are always going to be fans of what they love.
Right.
And, there's no lack of interest. I'm definitely sick of superhero movies and getting fatigued by them. But I think you're always going to have what you love, and you're always going to look out for it.
Do you know how I knew that I was getting fatigued with all of it?
No.
Is that I did not go see the Han Solo movie in the theaters.
I have not seen that yet either.
I was always like, I went first weekend didn't matter what Star Wars movie
Right.
it was, and I did not go see it.
I know.
And I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And that's weird to me because it's always been like, oh shit, a new Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gotta
I gotta
see
be
it
there.
like
I gotta be
Thursday night at midnight.
And then like what the Infinity War Avengers came out.
Yeah.
And I went and saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
But I think it was like the second week or whatever. And I was just
Yeah.
like, I think spoiler alert, they're probably all gonna die.
Yeah, because you already knew.
If you haven't seen that movie by now, sorry.
Yep.
But they all like die, I guess. Well, they don't really die. They're
not
all gonna
gonna
come
die,
back,
yeah, yeah.
And I mean, it's not like I like the Marvel movies and I think they're fun, but like, okay, so then the other night I was sitting around and my wife and we watched Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
and I was so bored.
Yeah, I was too. I don't think I ever finished watching it, and I was like all about it too before I watched it. I was like, oh, everybody's like raving about this, and it's like finally a good DC movie because I'm not a fan of DC movies.
They all
rather
do
than
the same thing.
Yeah.
In the end, the sky turns dark.
Yeah.
And then they all have like a crazy battle where the concrete just falls into the earth.
Yeah.
And there's like they're throwing cars at each other and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the exact same thing as the other movies.
Yeah, I think
They're running out of ideas.
Yeah, I think they need to start doing like kind of like less recognized. I mean, they kind of have.
Yeah.
It's like how many
Like
people?
Ant-Man?
Yeah, how many people knew Ant-Man? I mean, obviously, comic book nerds know, but those movies gross so much. There's so many people going to see it that have no idea who Ant-Man is.
I mean, when I first saw Guardians, I thought
That's
both
another
Guardians
one, yeah.
movies were like
Who are these
amazing.
guys? Yeah.
These were incredible because it was like a weird, fun space.
Sure, they picked some guys and did some things that were completely different.
Yeah.
And
I could give two craps about another Iron Man movie. I don't care.
Right. There's so many good independent comics out there that they could do. That would be fantastic.
I want to see a Calendar Man movie.
Okay. I would pay to see that. The Accountant, but not. Wait, I think there is a movie called The Accountant
with Affleck. Was there in a movie called The Accountant with Affleck?
That sounds right.
And I think he was like, he would go and kill people.
He was dating Jennifer Lopez, and
no, that was Geely.
I know. I was just trying to blend some Affleck stuff that I knew in there, and then at the end, he's like, "How do you like them apples?" And then he lights his cigarette and flicks it on a gas trail, and it blows up the Batmobile.
All right, and with that being said, we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on the Kansas City Podcast. Hey everyone, Cole here with the Kansas City Podcast. I hope you're enjoying today's 51st episode of the podcast. We are back at it. 50 more. Let's get another year under our belts. Thank you again to everyone for all the kind words from last week's happy birthday episode with myself and my wife. We had a great time doing it. All the messages and outpouring of support saying keep doing the show. That is mucho appreciated. It means a lot to me. So thank you so very much. Hey, if you know someone that you think should be on the show, send them our way. Send me a message. Get a hold of me. Find me. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It doesn't matter. Our website. There's a way to contact me there too. We are always looking for more fun, exciting, entertaining guests to join the show. Thank you for listening. And I don't know, let's talk some more nerdy stuff, some more geeky stuff with Josh. What do you say? Welcome back to the Kansas City Podcast. I'm your host, Cole Lindbergh, here with Josh Lane. Josh, welcome back.
Good to be back from our short little break.
Very nice little break. During the break and stuff, we worked on some art. I gave you a lot of great ideas.
Yes.
Because I think it's obvious that what people want more than anything else, and the artwork that they are dying for, that pop culture property that is just ripe, ready to go. Thundercats. It's all about Thundercats. And I noticed that you don't have any
Lack
Thundercats.
of Thundercats.
You don't have any Thundercats stuff around here.
A little before my time in viewing.
Well, that's why.
Yeah.
It's time. It's ripe.
It is. You're
it's
right.
ripe for a reboot.
It's coming back, isn't it?
Sure.
Cartoon Network, I think, is doing like a goofy kind of like DuckTales looking version of it.
Well, hell yes.
It's like it looks stylized. I think there was like a lot of backlash from people like, oh man, that's not my Thundercats.
Yeah.
But those people suck.
You can work on Thundercats.
Get over it.
Josh, before we're going to get here into a normal part of the show, but now since we have...
It's all been unnormal.
It's all been... Since the podcast has reached a point where, we hit 50 episodes, right? We have a year of podcasting under our belt here at the Kansas City Podcast.
That's 2 quarters. Two quarters together, 50.
Okay, yes. I thought you were thinking. I was thinking a calendar, like 2 quarters. Like,
nope,
no, that's
4 quarters, Josh. But that would be $1.
That would. I'm always trying to find new ways to reach our listeners and new segments, new things that I can do. And what I know is that there are a lot of different people that are listening to the podcast at different times during the day. So I want to try to see if you will help me, because I know that there is a segment of people that they listen to this podcast like right before they go to bed.
What's wrong with those people?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the soothing sound of my voice.
It's got to be.
So I was hoping that maybe you could help me here for the listeners. This is a segment called For the Listeners, and today we're going to talk to those people that are listening to this podcast about to go to sleep.
Okay.
Could you help me with that?
Get your sweepy stuff on.
So here, this is for the listeners who are about to go to sleep. All right, here we go.
For the listener.
It's bedtime. It's time for bed.
Get your headphones out of your ears and put the Q-tips in real quick, and then put the headphones back in.
It's sleepy time. Time to dream.
You got your teethies brushed. You got your socks off, but then you got them under the blankets so that the monster doesn't nibble on your toes.
Go to sleep, little boy.
Or girl, because you could totally be a girl too.
I will see you in the morning.
Or maybe you're sleeping in the afternoon.
It's nap time now.
It's cool too.
I'm not gonna put this pillow on your face.
I don't think this is probably relaxing, people.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh. That was for
People
the listener.
People are now asleep.
For the listener.
For the listener.
Hey, it's a new era here on the Kansas City Podcast as we try to start another 50 episodes, and it's time now for the Casey Query.
Questions right now.
All right, Josh, welcome to the Casey Query. It's a lot like in the past we had something called the Casey Quiz. And when something's not broke, you don't try and fix it. So the Casey Query, I will ask you Kansas City related questions. You will be rewarded points. Remember, folks, if you do not like a question, or if you have a question that you'd like to add to the Casey Query, you can always tweet us at Kansas City Pod. We always start with this question, and we're not changing this. Really, this whole segment of the show is basically changing in name only. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
It's your favorite restaurant that is not barbecue. Now, you have kids. This may be different for you. You may not have gotten a chance to go around and go to any great Kansas City establishment.
Chili's, baby. Chili's and Applebee's every night.
Very
Suburb
nice.
living. No, I'm kidding.
Your favorite restaurant is not barbecue. Go for it. What you got?
That's not barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard question.
Yes,
There's
I know.
A lot of good establishments in
You
Kansas
can have more
City.
than one. It's fine.
Let's see.
Where do you like to go?
Oh boy.
Chili's?
You're gonna have to. Okay, so the reason why I'm having long pauses is because Cole's wearing this very erotic attire Well, he's wearing this like have you guys that one piece green bow rat that bow rat made popular with the thong? I mean, that's what he's wearing. So there's going to be long awkward pauses in this.
I should think more about when I am like doing the interviews
to
not like maybe dress more appropriate.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry.
It's really distracting. Okay,
this is all my fault.
It's just me biding time for
thinking about it. You can always say stupid question.
I think it's a good question. I think there's a lot of I really like. We don't eat there very often. The Rye, I think, is a really good restaurant. They always got really good farm to table kind of foods.
Farm to table.
Yeah.
The cow.
Maybe it's not. And I'm just saying it is. I don't know that they have really good cocktails, and you can get fried chicken and grits. That's pretty good, and I've never had a bad item off the menu. I'm just really into them right now. So
okay, second part of that question is always your favorite barbecue. You got a Kansas City barbecue.
Well, I'm from the Northland, and I have to rep them. I really like Smokehouse Barbecue.
Yep.
I like their sauce a lot.
Yeah.
But that's not one that gets a lot of love.
That one actually you may be one of the first people that said Smokehouse in a while. But
I
remember going to Smokehouse all the time as a kid.
I like it a lot. I also like all barbecue a lot. Jack Stack is probably my favorite of like the kind of the more famous ones.
Okay. Very nice. I'm going to reward you 5 points for that answer.
Good.
Really
is that
job.
good? Is that a good amount of points?
Oh yeah. It's a great amount of points.
Awesome.
You have no idea. You got kids. Okay, so you gotta take them somewhere. Are you taking them to Worlds of Fun, the zoo, Schlitterbahn, or Powell Gardens? Where you taking them? Where are you going?
We got season passes this year to Worlds of Fun. So Worlds of Fun.
To Worlds of Fun.
Yeah.
Do you have any other like crazy? Hold on, I got a multiple part question here. Is your son old enough to ride any of the big rides yet?
He's big enough to ride, and I wouldn't call it a big ride, but it was a shocking ride for him. He rode the spinning dragons with me.
Okay.
And he was like, he was all like, dude, this is going to be awesome. He's like pumping himself up, and he's like tall for his age too. So maybe he's not even should be riding it. Like maybe his neck isn't built right yet, but like, cause he's just like really tall. Like he looks like he's like a lot older than he is. And,
he reached the height limit.
The height limit. So we're like, Werner's going to do it. He's going to love it. And like, he was all excited. I mean, the hill on Viking Voyager scares him.
Oh yeah.
And I remember kind of being scared of that when I was a kid, but so he got on this, and I'm just like, it's not very tall. So he was like looking at it, and it's like, it looks gentle.
Yeah.
But then like once the G forces hit him, he was like making this like noise, and he was like trying to play it cool. Like it came to a stop. He's like, is it going back up? And I'm like, no, it's not. We're done. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that was fun. Like and then like we got off and we were walking away. He's like, that was cool that we did that. And I was like, yeah, you want to go again? And he's like, not today. But he really likes it. He's digging it.
Do you have any other like kid spots that you like that like you've taken your kids to, or any other things like
we're
kid
old
stuff
school. We just go to the library because it's free.
Yeah.
They got a good library over here, and pick out some good books and just play around in there for a while. Kansas City spots library.
The library.
The library.
Very nice. Do you have a favorite local brew or favorite local brewery? Do you go around and party it up at a brew or brewery?
I'm more of like just hard whiskey kind of dude. I like Rieger whiskey. I can't have beer. Like makes me like sick. Oh, and it's unfortunate because I do like beer. I can have one beer.
Okay.
And I will get sick to my stomach like all day the next day.
That's really unfortunate.
I used to drink a lot of beer, and now I cannot. And it's probably because I overdid it. Maybe.
Could be.
Maybe I'm just old and just. I'm not that old.
It depends. Here we go. You're a music guy. Favorite place to go see a show? Favorite venue? You got a favorite spot? If your favorite band, if Portugal the Man is coming to town, where do you want to go see them at?
Probably something like really intimate.
Okay.
I like the clubs that aren't very big. Tell you what, back in the day, I went to a lot of shows at the El Torion,
Yeah.
and that place was hopping.
Yeah.
It was like the grossest bathroom award. I liked shows there because they were a bit chaotic, but then now my tastes have kind of changed to where I would go. I don't know.
Have you been to the Truman yet?
I've not been to the Truman yet.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
It is a very interesting venue. It doesn't feel like it should be a music venue
Yeah.
at all.
Huh.
But they have an awesome setup, and the bars really they got a bunch of bars and stuff.
Yeah. See, now I'm more concerned with
it's
the bar area.
Right,
Like,
yeah. Their
do
bar
they
area
have
is
good
really nice.
drinks? Like,
But it looks like an abandoned school cafeteria. Like a really weirdly high ceiling.
fluorescent lighting. It's like really bright in there.
Well, no, it was nice, but like there's the columns still. Like a couple
Oh,
columns in
that's
there.
good.
It's just it was. I never experienced a show quite like it.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, you have to check out the Truman.
I don't make it out to a lot of shows anymore, but I kind of like just smaller bars. Yeah.
Wait, what's
You're
your
probably
favorite bar?
looking for specific.
Well, no, I mean smaller bars. Like what? You're gonna go to the Town Tavern?
Yeah, man. The Legion halls, and just I don't know.
Here we go.
0 points for that one,
Let's
Josh.
a sports question. You got to put them in order. The Chiefs, Royals, Sporting, Mavericks. You
Ooh.
still following sports?
Well, so I canceled my cable.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why'd you cancel your cable?
I just didn't use it anymore.
doing all
Besides,
streaming now?
live sports was the only thing that I was watching,
Yeah.
and so now, yeah, I've kind of not watched sports, but I do like the Royals a lot, and I would probably go Sporting next,
Yeah.
and then the Chiefs. And what were the other teams you said?
Then the Mavericks.
Oh, the Mavericks?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're at the very bottom.
Okay.
But I have gone a few Mavericks games. It was fun. I wish we had an NHL team.
That's that. Well, would you rather have? That's another part of the question here. Would you rather have an NHL team or an NBA team?
In NHL, I think I kind of like the physicality of hockey.
Smash and grab.
Yep. And when no, you know what? I take that back. It's the elegance on the ice.
Figure the spinning.
Yeah, those guys can skate backwards really good, and I can't even walk backwards really good. So,
What year will the Royals win another World Series?
I'd say, oh boy, another 30 years, right? I mean,
Yep. So
it's 30 years apart.
2045.
No, I don't know. It just depends on what. I like Dayton Moore a lot. I think he knows what he's doing, sorta.
What do you? I think he's a weirdo.
Sure.
I mean, did you hear about the Royals and the porn thing?
Okay, so maybe I'll take back me saying I like Dayton Moore before I know the whole story on the porn thing. Let's just pretend I didn't say that. I don't know about that.
No.
I was just talking.
No.
Yeah.
He, if I remember correctly, he did a. I feel like I'm not going to do this justice. The Royals were the only team in baseball that had a seminar on the dangers of porn to their players.
Oh, that's not healthy.
And how it was bad for them.
Oh.
And it may have had a religious slant. I'm not certain.
Did they mix porn up with heroin? Did they think? I'm so confused.
It was some weird thing like that. And the Royals were the only baseball team to where they had Dayton Moore push this. They're no, they need to have a.
I take it back then. That's weird. I think he knows what he's doing with player personnel.
Oh, okay.
But this whole
I would classify it as player personnel.
is player personal.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yes. Okay, sorry. What year will the Chiefs win a Super Bowl?
They won't.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Moving
Give you
on.
A couple points for that.
I think football is a different beast, and I don't think. Yeah. Sorry.
Let's say this was a question that was added to the Casey quiz, or I'm sorry, Casey query. Now, by Kate Hogan a while back. What's your favorite Kansas City smell? Do you have a favorite KC smell?
Ooh,
It's a good question, right?
it's got to be when you're just walking around and you can get whiffs of barbecue, right? I mean, that's probably a pretty
Like the
cheap
whiff when you walk
answer.
through the door.
I mean, I'm just out and I can smell it, right? Like, it's just in the air. That's a boring answer on a Kansas City podcast. Oh, barbecue.
I mean, that has a very distinctive smell.
I guess so.
Here we go. Best prank you've ever pulled.
Hmm.
The best prank you've ever pulled.
I'm a sucker for the classics. I once got my sister 3 times in one night
Okay.
with the rubber band around the
faucet?
Yeah, where
Okay.
like when she turns it on, the sprayer just like sprays her.
Yeah.
3 times in one night. It's a proud moment for me.
How?
Like how to convince her to like go to the sink again.
Go to the sink again?
Yeah, like the first time that was totally on her.
Yeah.
But then and then the second time she forgot again and did it, and then the third time I was just like,
Was she like doing dishes or like having to go back and get water? Like, what was her reasoning for going to the sink so many times?
it was so long ago. I don't know. Maybe she has sink addiction.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, the third time I like definitely convinced her that we needed to get another cup of water, and then like why would she? It happened 2 times before that.
It's your chance now to ask me a question.
Kansas City related.
Hey, anything. Could be anything at all.
Oh no. Okay, since I do a lot of pop culture art, what's your favorite nerdy world?
I've got a couple. The first
just
is
one, please. It's
Oh,
my question.
damn it.
I'm
Okay.
running this now. This is the Kansas City podcast with Josh Lane. I'm sitting here with Cole. He's not my guest. Get out of my house.
I can't narrow
No,
it
pick
down.
2. Do 2. That's fine. I'm just
Can I do
kidding.
3?
What? Now you're adding more? Okay.
Okay, I'll do. Okay,
Do 3. You gotta number them though.
number 1, The Muppets.
Oh.
The Muppets is my favorite of all time. I could watch old Muppet movies.
Yeah,
Muppet
you got
Show.
a favorite one? Treasure Island?
No, my favorite is just still the first one, the Muppet movie.
Gotcha.
Like, just nothing can reach the excitement of that movie for me. I love Great Muppet Caper as well. I think that's a great movie, but
How do you feel about the new ones?
they're fine.
Yeah.
You know, like I put them in the same range as like the Muppets from Space.
Yeah.
You know, like the one that came out with Jason Segel was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. I don't like how the thing that I love about the Muppets and the Henson universe, if you will, the Jim Henson universe, is the creativity involved to make some of that stuff happen. Like if you watch Labyrinth and
Yeah,
Dark
yeah.
Crystal and stuff, and you know that that's all like physical
Yes.
stuff, you know. And I think that sometimes now, a lot of times it gets they get too many green screens going on, and
Absolutely.
you can tell. I even like the Muppet reboot show
Mm-hmm.
that they did. You know, it was kind of like the shot like The Office or whatever was on ABC for a bit.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't great by any means, but there were a couple episodes in there that like kind of like, oh, okay, you're capturing the magic of the Muppets.
The
again.
true essential.
But I'm a total Muppet nerd.
Is like Trekkies, is there a Muppet fan at the
I'm sure there is. Like there's whole Muppet Wiccas and Muppet
What about
fandoms.
Muppet Babies?
I liked Muppet Babies, but I was more I loved Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
I liked Fraggle Rock.
So
a
the
lot.
physical puppets.
Yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
physical puppets. I mean, just because it's always fun to watch that.
Yeah.
Like I'll even watch during Christmas time. I'll even watch Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Yes.
You know, some of these old ones that, you know, are just like weird.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Muppets, number 1.
It's good.
The
Good
Muppet-
animatronic. I also enjoy that. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I wonder what they used to like make that part of that puppet. Like,
Yes.
the creativity and that's really fun.
Yes, like when you learn how Big Bird is built, and like there's a guy that's standing in there, and one arm is still stationary.
Yeah,
and then
it's
he's
like,
got
man,
this
that
other,
looks pretty
you're like,
good for that.
Oh, that makes total sense of the world, but it's still ridiculous because
Yeah.
there's a guy with a hand over the top of his head.
Yeah.
Carol Spinney is holding it up there
Yeah.
with his arm. Yeah, I think
crazy.
the creature shop of the Muppets.
Well, I was just watching Dinosaurs the other day.
Yeah.
Also, Jim Henson did
yeah,
that,
Jim
right?
Henson did dinosaurs. Those are
And-
animatronics.
Yes,
faces,
and
animatronic
incredible
faces. Yeah,
like it looks so good. I'm like, how are they doing
Well,
that? Like, was
Henson,
it all
they did all the,
pre-programmed or?
they did all the Ninja Turtles too.
Yeah,
The first 3 Ninja
and
Turtles.
those look great.
Those look awesome.
Yeah.
They that's because it's an actual
Yeah,
character in
physically
the
there.
real world.
Yes.
It's not like these Ninja Turtle reboots where they're all CG and they
The
just
lighting's all weird. It's
it's
like you
just-
didn't get the lighting right on that.
that's what I hate. Like
Yeah.
I like seeing the actual like
Yeah.
I want it to look real.
Substantial. It's like
Yes.
it's got like weight to it.
You go
Yeah.
watch the first Jurassic Park, right? You know that like, oh, he's there and Sam Neill is actually like putting his face onto something and they're blowing
It's
up
breathing, yeah.
And I know they said I didn't see the new Jurassic Park movie. But
I've not. I saw there's a volcano in it, and that's cool in dinosaur lore. so that's important.
well, not only that, but like they said that they used more animatronics than in it than
Oh.
ever before.
No, they couldn't tell from the previews.
You're exactly right. You
Yeah.
couldn't tell from the previews because they all looked real shiny, glossy,
Yeah.
like some dude on the computer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Muppets.
Cool.
And stuff. I am also a huge nerd for. I still love Star Wars, but there is one pop culture property, if you will, that I am just full on crazy about. It's Animaniacs.
Oh yeah.
I love the Animaniacs. They're gonna reboot the Animaniacs. They're gonna put more Animaniacs out there.
Yes.
I'm very happy about it.
I was pretty obsessed when that first came out for sure. I took like an oatmeal container and like cut out a door and made the Warner Brother Tower
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
And I had like little statues. I don't even remember where I got of them.
Yeah.
And I like made it and like put it in my room and had them like inside of that.
Nice.
I remember doing that. Like kind of like, should I make the whole lot? Should I make all the
Should we
buildings?
make all the backstage lot.
Yeah, like
On
I
the
thought
Warner
about
lot?
it. Yep. Good stuff. A lot of good
stuff.
songs. I mean, like
Great songs.
like stuff that like it stuck with me like when I was in college, like filling out a world map.
Yeah.
And like
United
geography.
States, Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Did I answer your question?
No.
How
Yeah.
many points do I get?
I don't know your point scale, so I'm just gonna say like 767.
All right. It is time for the Google challenge. Here's what I have done. I have went online and I have typed in a word or phrase. Maybe I should change this to the Bing challenge for the Casey. No, we'll still Google. Here on the Casey Corner. So
Ask Jeeves
Yes,
corner.
so it is the Google challenge. I went online and I typed in some words and or a phrase basically, and I let Google autofill in the answer basically.
All
So
right.
like if you said the weather is blank, So I'm going to
That's a good one.
I put this in here. I typed in geeks are. Fill it in. Geeks are.
Sexy.
Is that what you're going with?
Oh man. Oh, so I gotta guess the first one that pops up.
Yeah, the first one that pops up.
Geeks are popular? Question mark.
So this is kind of interesting because when I typed it in, they have a suggested website. Siri has a suggested website that says geeksaresexy.net.
Yep. I've been to that website.
But the Google search is Geeks Are Us.
Geeks are us.
Geeks are
but
us.
spelled with A-R-E. Not to be confused with Toys R Us. Yeah.
Geeks, A-R-E, us. And then Geeks Are Cool. Lastly, Geeks Are Annoying. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Do you agree with
Sure.
all of those?
I think. Well, I don't get the Geeks are us. I don't know what that means.
I didn't click on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I assume it has something to do with maybe like, everyone's a geek.
Yep. Everybody can be annoying what they're passionate with, so I get the geeks are annoying. Like, if I sat here and talked to you about what I'm passionate with, I would annoy a lot of people. Because
Right.
it's like, I'm about it, and you're not.
Correct.
Or you are about it, just not the level I am. Vice versa. So I think everybody has a geek in them about something.
Yes. Something they're passionate about.
Yeah.
Nerdy about.
Like my dad would be like a car geek or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a Simpsons geek.
Yeah.
I'm a Muppet geek.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've learned this today.
Breaking news.
Josh, thank you for taking the Casey query.
My pleasure.
What? Listen now. Listen up. It's the KC query. What? KC query. Yeah. Give it to me. Ask me some questions right now.
Josh, it's been a lot of fun today. We're nearing the end of our time. I want to thank you for being on the podcast. But now, sir, it is your time to shine. It is your time to tell the people where they can find you. We will post links to Josh's stuff from our website as well. But Josh, it is your time, sir. Now, the floor is yours. Tell the people where they can find you.
So I shortened my last name from just Lane to just LN. Because I thought, there's a lot of Josh Lanes out there.
Yeah.
It's a pretty common name. So
Are you worried people are going to think you're a road?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I figured it's still my name.
Yeah.
It still reads as Josh Lane. And
This is true.
And then, so I'm not lying about that, but I'm easier to find on Google. So if you just Google Josh Lane, all my websites come up and the stuff I'm on. So
Josh LN.
Josh LN. Yep.
Very nice.
And so most of my products can be found on society6.com/JoshLN. And my website's joshlanedesign.com or joshln.com. There's a lot of .coms
Yes.
that you could find. I have a whole bunch, but they all take you to the same place. There's probably some weird ones I don't know about.
That point to you.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Any other spots that it? Just everyone, if you want to find Josh, just Google Josh.
Oh
Ellen.
yeah. Well, yeah, you can do that. Or I'm on Instagram at Josh Ellen. Facebook, same thing. Just type in Josh Ellen. Pretty easy to find, I think.
Do you want to give a tease for any new upcoming artwork? Do you want to tease it out? Like, what was the last one you released again?
Did like a Monopoly,
That's right.
Go to jail, like a parody of like that cop. And I had like RoboCop go to jail, like a version of him pointing with his whistle. And then I did like Go to Grail
with Monty Python.
And so I did a little series in that. My next series that I've given some consideration to that I'm going to start pretty soon. I'll just give a little hint. I went to the Negro Leagues Museum here in Kansas City and got inspired by some old pennants that I saw.
Oh, nice.
These illustrations on there, and I thought it would be nice like to have some like kind of like sports from pop culture, like Quidditch and stuff, like
okay,
kind of like
yes.
these old like athletic looking illustrated. I thought it'd be cool because they kind of looked old and like stamped on, and I definitely got inspired by it.
Like that old Art Deco weird like art, like weird design, kind of like real basic.
Yeah, like they didn't focus too hard on like the way that people looked.
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah.
Like but the typography is all cool and like, but the people are just kind of like, you can tell they're people, but they're kind of blobby.
Yeah.
I don't know, this way that it was printed that I just like, hey, that'd be kind of cool, and I think people would get it.
Nice. Remember, folks, you can find me at Colenberg on Twitter. You also can visit our website, theKansasCityPodcast.com, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Kansas City Pod. Thank you so much to everyone for breaking off this next 50 episodes with me and Josh here today. Appreciate all the feedback from our happy birthday episode last week. It was a lot of fun to hear from old past guests and stuff. Josh, any final words before we leave the people today?
Please take off that ridiculous outfit you're wearing, that Bo Rat swimsuit. No, it's been a real pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
And I am not going to remove the outfit. And thank you for being on the show. We will see everyone next time here on the Kansas City Podcast. Thanks a lot. See ya.